Hello, welcome, Cabbage here. Let's have a look at Monster Strike. And then I actually wanted to make this video last week, but I've had rip-roaring hay fever, and I didn't have any voice. But today I have a voice, so we can do a video. And then let's look at Jurassirina. She is the current super extreme monster from the current event. And then she's interesting for three reasons. One is that I really like her concept and her artwork. I guess she's like a giant monster Godzilla girl thing. That's pretty cool. And then the second reason why I like her is that her unit, her abilities and like her playstyle are really interesting. So I wanted to talk about that. And then finally, her quest is kind of difficult. I think recently the super extremes have been semi-easy, especially if you have Solomon Ascension. But Jurassirina is, she's pretty challenging, so it was fun to play through her quest. I've actually almost finished her max luck just because this video has been delayed. So I can talk pretty well about how to get through her quest. But first, let's look at her unit. This is the evolution form. She kind of has like power type stats, but she is a balance type. And so HP and attack are high. Speed is pretty slow for a bounce character. But being a balance type, her bump combo will be full power. She has the Kidon. That's very powerful for a drop monster to have. And then she has the bump combo ×2. So if you hit her twice, she will hit that bump combo out twice, and that's pretty powerful. She has a double null, the Minesweeper null magic circle, which may or may not be very useful in the coming year. But I would not make the max luck of Jurassirina for this version. Instead of her, you could do Nobita, who will be available soon in the Doraemon collaboration, or you could do Darwin, who's good in both of his forms, so I recommend to make the max luck of him. And then the strike shot, it looks like a two-pronged laser, which again, I don't really rely on drop monsters for the damage. Much more interesting is the Ascension form. This is a Pierce with a double null and a blast bump combo. And then already you might think that this is a great max luck. But she has very, very low speed, under 200, which is super low for a Pierce type. And so she's not going to travel very far at all, which really hurts her as a max luck. But actually she has some kind of other things about her, which kind of negate her disadvantages. So she should be really interesting to use as a max luck. But she has a Pierce with Flight and No Warp. That's a nice double null. And then she has an 8-turn Tackle Strike shot. This is interesting if you think about her in terms of the null abilities that she doesn't have. Null Gravity Barrier and Null Damage Wall. With that 8-turn tackle, it would be pretty easy for her to dodge the damage walls. And then with the Gravity Barriers, she doesn't need to travel very far anyway. Because, you know, with a tackle, you just need to hit a guy once, and then you've done your job. So in a sense, she kind of has a quadruple null ability. And then she also has the null magic circle every other turn, since using a strike shot will negate that. So she's kind of a go anywhere max luck. So that's why I'm really, really interested in trying her out. She also has the weak point slayer, so you can just aim straight for a boss's weak point. I'd really like to try her tackle strike shot into a weak point. I'm curious to see how much damage that does. And then the sub bump combo is the flare, which won't do a lot of damage since it's a sub bump combo and she is a power type. But it does have the chance to stun, so that's a nice bump combo to put on a power type. But yeah, I'm definitely going to try her out in lots of places. She could have a lot of usefulness. Okay, so let's move over to the quest, and as I said before, this is more challenging than recent super extreme quests. Although, that's been kind of the general opinion about it, I haven't really found it to be that way. If you put together a good team and then you do things in the right order, then it's not too difficult. And then gimmicks here are damage walls, warps, and blocks. I would say definitely bring characters with both null damage wall and null warp. But you don't need characters with no block. And actually you want to kind of take advantage of the blocks so that you can do more damage more quickly. But to talk about my team, first I'm using Yamato Takeda 0. I was happy to use him here because I actually don't use the guy very much. I know lots and lots of people love the Max Luck, and I can understand his usefulness on paper, but I never really use him. But for here, he was great. He's got the double null, he's a pierce, and then he has high speed. So you can hit the healing walls a lot and get lots of healing. And then his bump combo, the dimensional blades, it's really good for here because it will target the center of a character. And then a lot of enemies here, they have weak points in the center. So it will do good damage here. His strike shot not very strong, so I would not use it here at all. Next up is Kirito Evolution. He's another character that I don't really use that much, so I was happy to use him here. But he's a bounce with the double null, and then he also has a slice and dice type bump combo, so he can also do good damage to guys here. Next is Miroku, same double null, bounce. She has the chain lightning, which will hit in the center of enemies, so again, that's another great bump combo for here. Her tackle strike shot is also really good against the Triceratops, and then you do want to take them both down as quick as possible, so that's useful there. And then my friend, this is probably the best friend, Siegfried, another bounce with a double null, and then a Dragon Slayer, which we see works on the boss here. And then his strike shot really improves his speed, so that can do good damage, and then also get good healing against the healing walls here. And so first thing we want to do in every stage is to take down the Triceratops, and then that will move the blocks. Once the blocks are moved, we can do damage to the boss. And then the boss will hit us with a lot of high damage attacks, and then there are no hearts in this mission, so that's part of the reason why it's so challenging here. But if we hit the angel, starting from the second turn, our second turn, it will counterattack and then shoot out the healing walls. And so we can hit the healing walls as we hit the boss, and then keep our HP up. But yeah, once all of the Triceratopses are gone, then the blocks will come out in a way that we can kind of take advantage of them and then do good concentrated damage on the boss. With bounce characters, we can pinch in between the boss and the wall, or in between the boss and the blocks. I really recommend to go in between the wall and the boss, because sometimes if you're in between the boss and the blocks, you'll kind of teleport through the blocks, and then lose the chance to do more damage after that. So whenever possible, try to get in between the wall and the boss. And then the Pierce monsters, if your positioning is really good, you can do a loop hit, and then just get, kind of caught in between the blocks and then the wall in a very kind of a shallow space, and then do lots of hits on the boss. The loop hit is not possible unless you are in line with the weak point, so as much as possible you want to hit that weak point with the Pierce monsters. And then Siegfried, he does have the twin vertical laser, which is dark, and then that will be able to go through the laser barriers that we see here. But it doesn't do a ton of damage. But yeah, as you could see there with Kirito, we're kind of aiming to get underneath the boss. Wasn't quite able to do it. But yeah, we saw big damage come out of the boss there. And then we want to have the healing walls out every turn as much as possible. So if you can, hit those angels every turn as you're trying to do damage to the boss. Okay, so here I see that I'm low on HP. I'm going to use a Siegfried Strike Shot because it gives him a great speed up. So we can hit the healing walls a lot, and then maybe hit the boss as well, get some damage in there. But yeah, the boss does not hit us every turn, so like here I didn't hit the boss once. That's okay, because I can take later turns to do that. Okay, with Yamato Take to 0, let's take advantage of the blocks, get some damage on there. Very good. And then Kirito, his strike shot is very strong. And it's actually so strong that I would recommend to use it before you get to the last stage. Because there can be some like overload or overlap damage, which can carry over to the next gauge. It's a little tricky to use because, it gives him the speed and power up. And then the last, or the enemy that he is closest to after he stops moving will get those additional attacks. If you have other characters on screen, then there's a chance that it might go into those other characters. But here let's use Midoku's Tackle Strike shot. That will also do the Tribal Pulse. So we were able to take down the other Triceratops with that secondary attack. Okay, so we take down the Triceratops, blocks will move, and then we can start doing damage on the boss. So here we'll just do a left and right with Yamato Takeru. We're kind of taking a chance by not getting the healing walls out, but let's see if we can take down the boss quickly. Okay, here we'll try to get under the boss. Perfect. Taking some damage. Here again, let's see if we can get under the boss. Oh, not quite, but bump combos will do it, so that's fine. I mentioned earlier about Kirito's strike shot, that it will target the last character, or the closest character that he ends up next to. But if you take down the Triceratops and it's just the boss and the angel, you can hit the angel once and then it will turn intangible, and then it won't really register as a target anymore. So really the boss will be the only target there. So yeah, once the Triceratopses are gone, then you can use Kirito's strike shot with kind of a guaranteed hit on the boss. But yeah, the quicker you can get rid of the Triceratops, the more time you will have against the boss, and also the more time to heal yourself. Alright, let's see if we can get in between the wall and the boss here. Nope, not quite. Alright, so even with the regular bounds there, we did some pretty good damage on the boss, partly because of the Slayer on Siegfried. Okay, nice bump combo damage there as well. Okay, one Triceratops down there. I don't really have a good angle with Midoku, but let's see if we can maybe work our way down, get on the left side of the Triceratops. Okay, great. Okay, Triceratops are gone, blocks shift positions. Let's use a Siegfried strike shot again. And then, yeah, we'll get the healing in as we also do damage to the boss. The best place to get to would be above the boss there, but still, very good damage. Yikes, and big damage to us from the boss. But with Yamato Takeru 0 and his high speed, let's see if we can get under there and get some healing in. Alright, and then with Kirito, let's use his strike shot. And again, we will hit the angel, make it intangible, and then leave the boss as the only target. Oop. Unless we take down the boss beforehand. Okay, so that was Jurassirina. Not too difficult a quest, again, if you have the right team and if you, do the things in the right order. Alright, and then it could be an interesting max luck to make, not your average playstyle there. Okay, thanks for watching, and we'll see you again. Take care.